National Museum of the Philippines. At the close of National Heritage Month, we are proud to present to you this symposium entitled Making Modernity, the Art Deco Centennial Lectures 1925 to 1950, celebrating the centennial of the Art Deco movement. Today, we are to hear from noted scholars and colleagues in the heritage professions on various topics that relate to this style, from architecture, art, fashion, and history. And in so doing, we hope to foster an appreciation for the enduring legacy of Art Deco in the Filipino national identity. Making modernity is also part of a larger endeavor led by our Architectural and Built Heritage Division, which will include a landmark exhibition on the Art Deco movement set to launch at the National Museum of Fine Arts later this year. Let me also take this opportunity to thank our institutional partner organizations, the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, the Museum Foundation of the Philippines, Heritage Conservation Society, and Far Eastern University for their invaluable support and continued collaboration in the championing of our nation's heritage. May we have an enlightening symposium ahead. Maraming salamat.
Heritage Division. Allow me to formally start our first session, and therefore please allow me to read a brief profile of our first presenter, who is a multi-awarded author, historian, academic, and conservation architect. He is a professor at the UP Diliman College of Architecture and president of Deco, a research-oriented design consultancy. His works promote and expand the reach of architectural and historical discourse. He is intent on popularizing Philippine history, culture, and architecture, and his work centers on the 20th century, reflecting his diverse interests in history, engaging the public through a multitude of platforms, conservation works, books, articles, documentary films, digital media, and exhibits. Please join me in welcoming our first session's first speaker, Dr. Gerard Deco.
Okay, good morning. So before I start, so this is a story about Juan Dakpil. So his forays in the Art Deco style after his exposure to the 1925 Paris Exposition. But looking at Art Deco, Art Deco was a very convenient style to be Filipinized. So remember, in the early 20th century, American colonization introduced neoclassicism. It was an opportunity for Filipinos to native, to infuse native forms in the language of Art Deco, which is considered at that time anti-classical, and it was at that time it was the resurgence of archaeological finds and exotic culture. So dito pasok na pasok yung Art Deco sa pag-infuse ng Filipino identity. Sige, let's go. So my lecture is about the works of Juan Dakpil. I titled it Crossing the Gaps Between Tradition and Modernity, because Art Deco, although it's a foreign style, through his work he was able to appropriate the language of Art Deco in the local context by infusing elements like Sampaguita, Carabao, and these are very popular, popular typologies. So first, I wrote something about Dakpil in my first ever article for Blueprint magazine 25 years ago. So fortunately, I became the steward of the modernist Art Deco building of Dakpil at the University of the Philippines. If you look at the works of Dakpil in the University of the Philippines, it is a transitional style. It's not truly modern, but there are resonances of Art Deco in the grill work, in the massing. It's like proto-modern. Ayaw Next. Ayan. So I had the opportunity to engage in this work by adaptively reusing the basement of the library, university library, as a museum for the university heritage. Next slide. Yan. Pero we discovered when nung tinanggal namin yung yung ceiling, we discovered beautiful coffered ceilings which were concealed for half a decade. So nilabas namin yon. Next slide. Yan. We made a museum. Next slide. Next slide. Kasi 20 minutes lang to, it will... Ayan, so this is the summary of the modernity in the 20th century, beginning with the introduction of reinforced concrete through the classical buildings. So we were introduced by the Americans with the extensive use of reinforced concrete as a modern and hygienic material. So the 1920s, 30s saw the rise of Art Moderne, or the classic Art Deco that we have, and then Later, it evolved into something that worshiped the machine, no? The streamlined modern, no? Which alludes to speed, no? And ocean liner and global travel. No? The 1940s, no? It's post-war reconstruction, so modernism was the fit style, no? To eliminate all those excessive ornament, no? To reduce the cost, no? Of rebuilding. So and then post-independence, and then nation building, then Marcos regime brutally. So this slide summarizes, no, the shifts, no, of 20th century modernity in the Philippines. But we will focus now on the early part, no, which is the Art Deco period. So the pensionado system allowed, no, Filipino scholars to travel to the United States, no, to study architecture. No? So many of them were, after their graduation, they were adopted, no, to the bureaucracy, no, to become, no, government architects like Juan Arellano. No? One of them is Juan Nakpil. No? Next slide. Ayan. So, but this group of architects represent the second generation of Filipino architects who were, whose work are very profoundly Art Deco. No? So Andres Luna, Pablo Antonio, Fernando Ocampo, Nakpil, and Tomas Mapua. Next slide. Next slide. Oh, but Juan Nakpil, no, career spanned 70 years, no, 7 decades. So, but he became national artist in 1973. No? So, but we will focus more on his Art Deco phase. Next slide. Tatagal tayo dito. Ha? More than 20 minutes. Okay, so sino ba nakakilala kay Juan Nakpil? No? So si Juan Nakpil, no? Studied, originally he graduated, no, in UP as an engineer, then he studied architecture abroad, no? So US, no, and then he went to Paris. No? That's why, like the work of Andres Luna, very Parisian, no, yung kanyang Art Deco. So unlike si si Juan Arellano, very American yung Art Deco niya, more streamlined, but mas flamboyant yung Art Deco ni Juan Nakpil, no? As you will see, no, in his works, no, for cinema palaces, no? So in a way, Art Deco, no, his Art Deco is democratized, no, because it was accessible to the public, no, through the cinema palaces, no. For a mere price of a ticket, you can, no, enter a space of fantasy, no, wherein hindi ka may alienate, no, but rather you will see images of the Filipino translated in the stylization of Art Deco, like mga Pilipina nakabarot saya, no, Sampaguita, no, ano pa ba, mga Carabao head, no, you will see that now, for example, in State Theater. Pero, asan na yung slide natin? Because architecture should be visual. Hindi lang, ayan, okay. Sana, yon. So, dito siya pinanganak. Dito siya tumira, no, sa may, sa may Bahay Nakpil, dyan sa may Quiapo. Sige, tuloy-tuloy na lang. So, after graduating from high school, no, in 1917, Nakpil took up engineering, no, at the UP. No? Then he enrolled in the University of Kansas, where he obtained civil engineering degree in 1922. So, this is the passport picture, no, of Juan Nakpil. So while studying in Kansas, he supported himself, no, by playing the piano for Filipino String Orchestra. No? He also studied in France. Okay, yun. He studied in Fontainebleau, no? And then in 1926, he received master's degree in architecture from Harvard University. So, in a way, he was really exposed, no, to the Parisian, no, to the French Art Deco style. So apart from training, no, apart from his academic training, he also he was in a way worked, no, with the Bureau of Public Works. Next slide. Sige. So he collaborated, no, with Andres Luna de San Pedro for the Perez Manillo building, no, which the first United building, no, in 1926. So next slide. So he also designed, no, Art Deco pieces, Deco furniture for Gonzalo Puyat and Son. So Gonzalo Puyat is a prominent, no, furniture maker in the 1920s, 1930s. So they developed yung mga ambassador chair and more streamlined sala sets and furniture.
Next slide.
Ang daming technical, ha? Okay, so yan. Sige na nga, next slide. Bilisan na lang natin. So, as an architect, no, he led, no, the Philippine Society, no, so the PIA. No, this is, next slide. Yeah, next slide. So, ayan, wala pa tayo sa 10 minutes na. Okay. So, sige, bibilisan ko na lang. So, he was married pala to to the first, no, Miss Philippines, no, si Anita Noble, no, who is the daughter of Marcela Agoncillo. Next slide. So, nagkaanak sila, no, yung mga anak niya, especially the boys, no, were also architects. Next slide. They formed, no, in 1953 a partnership. So Nakpil's pre-war body of work, no, is characterized by the Art Deco style. No? So he was able to observe, no, the Paris exposition, no, and then dinala niya sa Pilipinas. So the homecoming signaled a change, no, in the architectural landscape. Next slide. Next slide. These are just, so even, so he also collaborated, no, with the triumvirate modernists, no, especially next slide. So, una sa mga residences, no, you will see elements, no, of Art Deco in this residence. No. So, streamlined, no, next slide. Apartment buildings, next slide. So he also designed, no, pero hindi Art Deco, no, the Quiapo Church, no, before it was expanded by Jose Maria Zaragoza. Next slide. Next slide. Just show the pictures. I'll tell you to stop. Yeah, next slide. Ayan, no, teka muna. Yan. So, one of his works, no, is a skyscraper. No? Remember, skyscraper is about 7 to 8 stories at that time. No? So, this is the Jeronimo de los Reyes building. So look at the the influence. No? So the facade is like a zigzagging. No? So like a ziggurat. No? Next slide. So these are actual. Also, he designed the Brias Ross building, which is a triumph of Filipino architecture at that time. Next slide. Okay. So cinema, was an important part of his career. He was able to reach the masses. So hindi naman puro office building, mga bahay na mayayaman. So for example, the radio cinema. Yung radio cinema, yung cinema na nasa gitna. Next slide. So he also designed the Bautista Nakpil pylon. You will see there the Nautilus shell, the flora, the fauna, and the frozen fountain. Yan. Ang ganda, no? So, the elements here, the typical elements of Art Deco are the unfurling fern, and the logarithmic spiral that you will see in the Nautilus shells. So, also in Sariaya, he designed this very beautiful canopy, with those very similar to the pylon. Next slide. So, in 1937, we hosted the World Eucharistic celebration. So the centerpiece of that international event was his pylon, with a salakot, and then Yeah, that's the the event, no? But it's very phallic, no, actually. Next slide. So I was able to retrieve some of his mga arches, no, which is bamboo, no, made of bamboo but executed in the Art Deco style with all those salakot. Next slide. Ano nga ba ito? Ayun, ang isa pang dinesign niya, popular, no, was a racetrack, no, two racetracks, no. Next slide. So the Manila Jockey Club, no, in the streamlined Art Deco. We say streamlined, you have rounded corners, porthole windows. It's white, no, and it's like being transported in an ocean liner. No? So the Manila Jockey Club, which is now the SM San Lazaro. No? Next slide. And you have Santa Ana, no? Which is now Circuit. So, di ba, very iconic yung mga ulo ng kabayo dyan, di ba? Naalala nyo ba? Oh, yan. Okay? So, yun yung ulo, no? Nandun sa ano. Next slide. Ayan. So, ang isang triumph, no, sa tingin ko na overlook, no, yung mga sinihan niya, no? Like the new radio theater. So, the radio theater, yan, is the first cinema, no, to use the technology of sound. So, look at how he interpreted, no, the introduction of the sound through his facade, no? You have energy, no, the energy of sound waves, no? Sige na nga, 5 minutes na daw. Next slide. Next. Ganun na lang. Yeah. Ito yung mga sinihan niya. No? So, in a way, no, he was able to reach the masses through the cinema. No? So, imagine nyo, these are luxurious spaces, no, that are accessible to the public. No? Next slide. Yan, mga sinihan. Next slide. Ang dami ko pa sanang kwento. No? Yung Capitol Theater is one of his remaining works, but unfortunately, it's demolished, no? Diba? So it's very beautiful building, renowned for its bas-relief sculpture designed by Severino Fabi, no? Not Monty, ha? Representing two Filipinas in Barot Saya holding emblems, no, of entertainment, no? The film reel and yan, no? And then look at the sprocket, no, of the film. Next slide. Ayan. So, also inside that cinema, you have the mural, no, the collaboration of the triumvirate, no, Filipino modernists. So, look at the lobby. No, it's very luxurious. The female nude sculptures are by Severino Fabi. And look at the finishing. No, at that time, marble is very costly. No, so in place of marble, they use terrazzo and then foam marbling. No? And then, can you imagine the lobby is metallic silver? No? Diba? Ganda-ganda. Next slide. Sige. Yan ang itsura ng sinihan. Nakapunta na ba kayo sa sinihan? Wala nang sinihan ngayon. So when I was with the NCCA, I was able to assess, no, the building. No? Wala na rin siyang masyado siyang highly modified. Next slide. Just to show you. So, ito yung balak nilang gawin, no, dun sa building. Okay. Next slide. Yeah. So, also he did State Theater. No? State Theater is renowned for its facade na may floral and look at the, may kalabaw. No? Kalabaw. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, yung Art Deco niya has this Filipino. And look at the grill work. Pakibalik doon. No? Look at the grill work. Merong puno ng niyog. No? May puno ng nyog, no? And then may mga anahaw na abstracted and highly geometricized. Next slide. And he has this Avenue Theater and Hotel, also demolished. Now it's a car park. No? Next slide. And then his theater for Ateneo. This was destroyed during the war. Next slide. Yan. Next slide. Next slide. And then main theater, no? So main theater medyo modern na siya, no? Next slide. And then his tuberculosis, no, facility, no, sanitarium in Santolan, no? Quezon Institute, no? Streamlined, white, no, very sterile and hygienic, in line with the with the etiology of disease at that time. So he also designed, the master plan for the institute. So yeah. Okay. So have you been inside the? Actually, when I was doing my dissertation, I was there, no? I caught, no, tuberculosis as well. So I lived, no? I lived through tuberculosis. Next slide. Next slide. Just to show you, no, the beauty of his work, no? So you have a beautiful open space, no? Very grand, no? Especially the lobby, no? But war, no? Many of these buildings were destroyed during the war. Next slide. Yan. So next. Yan. So hindi na uso yung ano, no? Hindi na uso yung classical, modern na nag-shift na. But his initial work, next slide. Just to show you, no, he was appointed, no, as part of the team, no, of architects to go to the United States to design the capital city of the Philippines. And UP, no, UP was one of his assignments. No? Although he was not the university architect, no, he was able to set the direction for the University of the Philippines with, no, with the new architecture vocabulary. Go lang. Yan. So, next slide. So, looking at ito kakikita ko lang, kakadiscover ko lang to. Next slide. So, he was a signatory, no, to the capital city plan, no, of Quezon, in Quezon City. No? Next slide. So, from highly classical, no, next slide, his work in the University of the Philippines is modern, but this modernity is also tempered, no, with Art Deco sensibility. No? Next slide. Go lang. Ito, dinesign niya rin yung ano, no, yung master plan ng University of the Philippines. Yan, look at that. No? Pero this building, no, is a product of a merger, no, of design. So, ang isang architect, no, was Cesar Con. So, he was too modern, no? Parang hindi pa ready ang Pilipino sa 1940s, late 1940s, hindi pa ready. So, next slide. Tapos counter-propose si Nakpil, no? Very Art Deco, no? So, as a compromise, next slide, pinag-combine yung design. So, that's the reason why ganun yung architecture. And then you will see Art Deco precast elements sa Quezon Hall. No? Yan. Di ba? Naalala nyo ba yan? Next slide. Okay. Go lang. Yan, no? So, when you go up, no, you will see Art Deco, no? Art Deco details. Next slide. Ganda-ganda. Nakakit na kayo sa UP. Ayan, no? Loko. It's very, Kaso, ito yung mga hindi na-access ng public, no? Next slide. Ayan. He also designed the university library. No? Next slide. Go lang. Ayan. May reference talaga sa cinema, no? Next slide. So, pati yung mga grill work and other elements. So, I discovered this plan. So, if you notice, the grill work, no, are very Art Deco. Next slide. Ayan. Okay. Next slide. So, his last work, no? Next slide. Sige lang.
Yan. Very Art Deco yung carillon, no? Napansin nyo ba yun? Carillon, no? So, because of its form, no, and its precast ornaments. Next slide. Ayan, but starting in the late 1950s, Nakpil would shift to modernism. Mabilisan lang. So, just to show you talagang nag-iba na yung style niya. Hindi na Art Deco. Go lang. The use of brisole, no? The use of glass. No? Okay. Go lang. The use of folded plate, no? And then the use of tin shell technology. No? Yan. Very popular yung ano na yan. So, looking at this, no, next, okay na tayo. Okay na tayo. We see the long career, no, of Nakpil, no, from Art Deco, then shift Art Deco as a proto-modern, no, as a proto-modern style, and then he totally eliminated the sumptuous decoration of Art Deco in favor of the modernist tradition. So he was a versatile designer, no? So being That being said, no, he was given no, the National Artist Award in 1973, the first to receive no, the award. No. With that, thank you. Good morning.
All right, thank you so much, Professor Lico, for that enlightening presentation on the life and works of our first national artist for architecture. And thank you so much for bearing with us for technical difficulties. Sana pasado po rin po kami sa thesis. Um, for our next session, without further ado, allow me to to welcome our second presenter for this session. Our next presenter is a heritage architect, an educator in architectural history with a master's degree in architecture specializing in history, theory, and criticism from the UP Diliman. His work specializes in how architectural design and ornamentation shape human perception. He is a contributor and advocate in Southeast Asia's heritage and sustainability advocacies, serving as a board trustee for the Heritage Conservation Society and contributing to the Southeast Asian Cultural Heritage Alliance. Beyond the classroom, he has contributed to heritage consultancy projects across Luzon, documenting and analyzing Spanish and American colonial era structures, including train stations, churches, and residences. As the head architect of Arquitectura Hasegawa, his design and consultancy firm, he continues to blend history with modernity, preserving the past while shaping the future of architecture. So please join me in welcoming our next speaker, Architect Paulo Andrew Hasegawa.
Good morning, everyone. For this session, I'll be talking about Deco and democracy and how Art Deco influenced one of the most important civic structures that we have, especially in the provincial stage, the Capitolio, or the Capitol building. May I see the slides? Okay. So, in talking about provincial capital architecture, especially those built specifically in the style of Art Deco, we should dig a little bit more further to the origins of the capital. So, of course, we have our Capitol buildings coming from, from the context of American democracy. During the time of the American colonial rule in the Philippines, they believed in the symbolism and formation of the identity of the Union. Well, not just in the context of the colonial era in the Philippines, but during the time of the foundation of the United States. They have this context of unity. And for this unity to manifest itself in architecture, we have this term called federal design. And for them, creating a federal design is a unifying effect that would link together the different states that make up the United States. And you can see here, this is the first state capital. So we trace back our provincial capital architecture from the state capitals in the United States. This is the first state capital. So in the US, they call it state capitals. We call it provincial capitals here. And of course, it is a representation of the branches of the government because it has its executive branch, its legislative branch, and its judiciary branch. And that would also as well be mirrored in the provincial capital buildings in the Philippines. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so although federal design is not really on our topic of Art Deco for now, because federal design centered on the context of neoclassicism or revival of classical styles, because the founding fathers of the Union wanted to create a sense of democracy which was traced back to the ancient Greece. And we can look back to Greek architecture, now revived in the American context. So, okay, a little bit messy here with the timeline. At the time of the start of the American occupation, we can see that the first consulting architects that were assigned to, you could say, share or mirror their aspirations in the Philippine Islands were all reflecting neoclassical design. So we have here the likes of Daniel Burnham and William Parsons. So most of the early consulting architects who built the initial provincial capitals in the Philippines were all reflecting neoclassical designs. Once we transition to the Filipino architects, specifically, some of the first would be Juan Arellano and Tomas Mapua. They would not initially change the course of design from neoclassical to Art Deco. They would still follow the blueprints of previous slide, please. The blueprints of their previous American consulting architects. Eventually, during the time of modernism, we slowly transition as well into using Art Deco motifs, Art Deco style. That's why you see boxed in the in the rightmost side, especially during the 1930s. Now we see some examples of provincial capital buildings designed in Art Deco. Most of them from Arellano. Next slide, please. Sure, next slide. Just like what Architect Lico have said earlier. Previous slide, please. And just like my advisors have said earlier, the pensionado program, so I'm just gonna repeat this. It has sent, the American government sent Filipino scholars to the United States and Europe to study architecture, which has influenced them a lot, especially in the growing popularity of modern styles, Art Nouveau, Art Deco. Yes, next slide, please. And it further reflected this motif in the capital, in provincial capital design. So it became as a challenge or an alternative because neoclassical style brought by American architects, especially to the civic architecture scenario, was still a very dominant design choice. So it's a means of trying to promote something modern, something new, on the basis of, just like what Architect Lico have said earlier, on the basis of exotic imagery or forms. We have revivalism of Mesoamerican forms, ancient forms. So it was, again, it was easy for Filipinos to adapt because we do have our native traditions that blends well with the Art Deco motifs. Next slide, please. So I have 3 case studies that I could show you here, all from Arellano. We have the Tayabas provincial capital, or Quezon. We have Cebu, and we have Bulacan provincial capital. Next slide, please. Next slide. All right, so the Bulacan provincial capital, one of the early use of strip classicism, which was also a subtype of the Deco. It's more of a transitionary style before going full Art Deco. Tries to soften the the neoclassical elements into a more geometrical layout, geometrical patterns. Next slide, please. Could show you the provincial capital of Bulacan. Not sure if this is the most recent that we have. A good presentation here that shifts from neoclassical to Art Deco would be the use of if you look at the columns instead of using the typical circular or square columns of neoclassical design, Arellano have used octagonal columns. Although we could see some neoclassical elements still present in the building, such as the dentils on, if you could see, like square billets on the architrave. But we have a more simplified design rather than looking at the ornate neoclassical architectural style. Next slide, please. During my study on provincial capital buildings, I've traced some of the pertinent details showing most of the elements of it. This is one of the most famous elements of the Bulacan capital would be the door, which is stylized with beautiful grill works of sunburst pattern. And we have zigzag patterns as well at the transom of the door. Again, here's the pediment area of the Capitol building, and you still see a little neoclassical details with it, although in a more simplified manner. Next slide, please. Here are some exact photographs of it. The famous door from the Bulacan Capitol. You have ornaments as well on top, kind of a representation of the neoclassical metopiece on classical temples, but simplified, again, in a more geometric and basic shape-like patterns. Okay, next slide. Then we have Tayabas, provincial capital. Initially was actually neoclassical, but then under Arellano, designed in an Art Deco style. Next slide, please. Okay, this is an old photo, so it doesn't give justice to the newly renovated Quezon capital, which is now repainted. Now we see a more we see more closely to we are kind of leaving the neoclassical style already in this work of Arellano, because it's also already concentrating much on the Art Deco details, actually removing most of the basics in classical architecture. In the next slide, we've again tried to locate some of the important details that may deduce its Art Deco architecture. You could see the railing stylized in a more geometric pattern. Look at the pediment still has that idea of neoclassicism, because as a central bay of the provincial capital, it tries to evoke or impose power, impose governance, impose balance and formality. But on top of the pediment, we see not the usual neoclassical elements, such as a pinnacle. You can see two pinnacles protruding on the pediment. Then we have here the wing, the upper part of the wall of the wing, which shows, I believe it's 12, 6 on one side and 6 on the other side, 12 sculptures by sculptor Francesco Monti, which depicted in an Art Deco manner. and it tries to evoke not the typical neoclassical motifs of sculpture, which is usually mythological, godly elements, but in a more we could say makatao, because it shows the daily lives of men and women. You can see some of the sculptures may nagwawalis. Some of them nagbubuhat ng, I don't know, mga paninda nila, or mga fishermen carrying their catch for the day. So it kind of bring it more closer to the people, in a sense. No? It tries to signify a more democratized symbolism, that governance is for the people. Okay, more from the details. Sorry. Of course, we do still have some neoclassical details, such as the wreath and the roundels, which are very prominent in neoclassical design. Okay, next slide. Then we have the Cebu Capitol, which for me it kind of mellows down the Art Deco again, but now using most of the strip classicism at work here. So instead of seeing more ornamentation, we see a more toned down classical look in a strip classical way. All right, next slide. Okay, so here are some grill patterns, more on floral and circular motifs on the grill patterns of the Cebu Capitol. Again, with the sculptural details, probably a remnant as well of the view arts architecture influenced by Aureliano. On the pediment, you can see there's a good engravement there that says the authority of the government emanates from the people. Again, it gives a symbolism of democracy, but written in English, of course, because it was during the American colonial era. Okay. So next slide, please. Okay, so you see here the provincial capital of Cebu. You can see less of the Art Deco, but more of the strip deco or the strip classicism that it has. You can see evoking a more concave facade on the central bay. Symbolism. You can see the symbolism of trying more of an embracing symbolism, more of an enclosing symbolism. You have there. Columns as well are more simplified than the typical neoclassical design. Okay. All right, I think this is the last part. So the three Art Deco style capitals, although the three Art Deco style capitals from Aureliano were mostly some of the more prominent Art Deco examples in provincial capital design, but it would be followed further because you'll see a lot more, not Art Deco, but more strip classical provincial capitals. So the three Art Deco style provincial capital buildings are an ensemble of cultural significant examples by Juan Aureliano. And we see here not just a transition in architecture, not just a transition from neoclassical to Art Deco, it's a transition also in administration and management, because they were transitioning from American consulting architects to Filipino consulting architects, but also maybe subtly expressing that transition of self-rule from American colonial rule to Commonwealth and eventually independence. So it is manifested through architecture, through the change of style in architecture. That is all. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Professor Hasagawa, for that talk on our provincial capitals and the Art Deco style, tracing our histories from the America colonial period to our current era. So at this point of the session, we now actually have a 15-minute refreshment break. We have coffee available at the lobby, including coffee tables and snacks for all of our participants. Please take this time to refresh, gather your thoughts on everything we've learned so far, and we will see you back here in 15 minutes. Thank you, everybody.